Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Ideagen Global Impact Summit 2022 in Athens, Greece. It is presented actually globally by Microsoft in collaboration with the American Community Schools of Athens, Ideagen.net, and supported by the American Hellenic Institute. We'd like to welcome all of you here today, and we'd like to remind our audience that this is a live-to-tape broadcast. Therefore, please refrain from clapping and making noise, and if you can, please put your phones on silent. A few words about Ideagen. Ideagen is a global convening platform which includes Ideagen TV, Ideagen Radio, and Ideagen's award-winning Catalyze magazine, in addition to global summits that foster cross-sector collaboration for global leaders and luminaries from the world's leading brands, companies, NGOs, and public sector entities. By strengthening connections and fostering communication, we highlight the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals to accelerate innovation and solutions for many of the world's most vexing issues. For more information, please log on to www.ideagenglobal.com. During this global summit, we are going to be highlighting the importance of creating a sustainable future from both a personal and societal perspective through the unique insights of the coordinators and guests on this global stage. We have a distinguished group of speakers today, and we're very excited to be discussing the skills and agility required to succeed in the 21st century and implement strategies to achieve a more viable planet. Ideagen is presenting cross-sectional panels that include Maritime Strategy and Economy, Agility 21 Skills and Mindsets to respond to future events, global goals, and achieving the goals by 2030. At this point, I would like to welcome our distinguished guests on stage for welcome remarks. His Excellency Ambassador Angelos Pangratis, President of Ideagen.net. Dr. Peggy Pelonis, the President of the American Community Schools of Athens, who is also a host, and George Sifakis, Global Chairman and CEO of Ideagen Global Headquarters. We'd like to also welcome Tim Ananiadis, Chairman and Board of Trustees of the American Community Schools of Athens. Welcome.
Thank you, Yana. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really a delight to welcome you here today. Welcome to our local community as well as our global community. I'm really delighted to be hosting the Ideagen EU Global Summit here at ACS Athens, because I think that education is the key to developing, not only providing knowledge and skill for our young people, but also developing the mindsets that we need and they need to succeed in a competitive world, but also to become conscious global citizens to make positive impact in life and living on the planet. So I welcome all of you, and I look forward to these discussions with these wonderful visionaries who are already making great impact in the world. Thank you for being with us.
Welcome. On behalf of the Board of Trustees for ACS Athens, first of all, I would like to thank George Sifakis for giving us the opportunity to host the summit. This is a school that bases everything on innovation, and I think this is a perfect summit for us to be hosting, and also for the school to have the exposure that we need to the general audience, and especially the audience of the Ideagen videos. We are excited to have this summit in a time that obviously the world is looking for innovation and is looking for opportunity. So we're looking forward to hearing the speakers and everything they have to say on the panels. Thank you very much.
Very well. But let me first start by thanking Tim Ananiadis, Peggy Pelonis, and George Sifakis for this wonderful opportunity. It's a great pleasure to be part of this event and to cooperate with the two organizations that I just mentioned. I would like to take a couple of minutes, a few words on what I consider is the essence of this day's event and the cooperation with Ideagen and the ACS. We live in difficult times. As you probably all heard, the Chinese say the wish, may you live in interesting times. Well, we live in interesting times, but in interesting times characterized by crises and important events that are challenges for the whole world, quite extraordinary and probably unique since at least several decades, since 45. We have more wars today than we ever had since 45, and we need more humanitarian assistance globally than we needed since then. Yeah. So when we deal with this crisis, there are two things that we should not underestimate, we should never underestimate. One is the human suffering that they imply. And the second is the fact that a lot of what is happening is a real challenge for our Western societies, for the fundamentals of our Western societies, not only our prosperity, but also fundamental values like democratic freedoms and principles. Now, I will not enter into all that, nor into the details of the crisis that we all know, we all live through, we understand them. But I will say this, we should not see only the obvious part of the crisis that we are living in. We should see a big essence, a big reality that is behind it. And for me, this big reality is the fact that what we have done as an organized world since the 20th century and since now was very good, and it was very efficient for some time. But we come to the point where something else is needed for the 21st century. So I want to keep this in our minds collectively, that we are in a deep transition. We should not see only the crisis. We should see the prospect of what will come out of this crisis, and we should work for what will come out of this crisis. And this has to be a better world. Through the suffering, the pains, the conflicts, the war, the difficulties, we need to be concentrated on the next step, look further. And if we do that, I think there are at least two very important, if we accept this concept of deep transition, there are at least two aspects of importance. One is that individual responsibility. We have as individuals and as organizations to decide what are we concentrate our good energy on. Do we invest on managing the conflicts and the frictions that need to be managed? But there is the other option, is to concentrate more, as much as we can, on building this transition, what will come out of the transition, build the better world that we all need. And as part of this, there is the second question. If you take a certain option in that direction, that you can guess what I'm arguing, that we need to work for the longer view and for the better world that needs to come out of this crisis, with whom do you cooperate with for that purpose? And there I want to say 2 words more about our 3 organizations and the way we see it. Allylon was created from volunteers. The aim is very noble. We want to support, particularly our young generation. They will build the world that is needed, right? So we want to help them in that effort, particularly in their professional endeavors. And we do that with great focus on key values, because we believe very much that that's the essence of what needs to come down the road. We concentrate on values of volunteering, solidarity, mutual support in the society, transparency, equal treatment, merit-based approaches. That's what we are trying to advance. We are trying to advance that. That's the main aim, helping the young people, our young professionals individually. The second step, the second target is to do that with others, not alone. And we choose the partners on the basis of these values and their ability to also commit to these values. And third, by doing that, we want to prepare everybody involved, including our young professionals, but also the organizations, for the world that is coming, because there are profound changes and need adapting by all. Now, I will not be long for Ideagen. Ideagen concentrates on the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, I will only say that in times of crisis and tension, as we are living now, these things need to appear a little bit more remote. People concentrate, the traditional diplomacy concentrates on the crisis. But this is only an impression. I will say that down the road, when we look to what we need to come out from this deep transition, then these are the values on which the world will need to build the order or the world of the 21st century that is needed for the progress that we all, I think, around this table, we want to achieve. As of the school, I think I said it already yesterday, visiting the school is an emotion. The work that is done here is fantastic. It shows how the school prepares, again, those who will really make the change down the road. So in conclusion, let me say that we are very proud and very pleased and very honored to cooperate with ACS and Ideagen in this process, and I thank you again for making this possible.
Well, Angelos said it right. My name is George Sifakis. I'm the CEO and founder of Ideagen, and we are so honored to be here today for many reasons. Let me first commend Peggy Pelonis, the president of ACS Athens, who is leading and keenly understands and recognizes the importance of the future. Each and every one of the students at this school is the future. And I've seen firsthand now as a board member as well, along with our honorable and esteemed leader, the chairman of the board, Tim Pangratis, who's a leader in his own right, and understands keenly as well the value of the future, which is embodied in each and every one of the students here at ACS Athens. It's not by accident that we're here, because Ideagen understands that this is the future. Along with Ayulan and my good friend of over a decade, maybe longer, Angelos Pangratis, who served as the EU ambassador on many capacities in many places, but where I saw him in action when he was when he was EU ambassador to the United States. Always a Philhellene, always a Hellene, leading with class and dignity and diplomacy. And you're right, Angelos, at this point, we are at a crossroads. Ideagen has never wavered from understanding that the global goals of the UN are a unifier. Why? In 2015, all 193 member states of the United Nations came together, including the United States of America, to agree to these 17 global goals. No hunger, no poverty, empowering women and girls, global partnerships, access to energy, clean water, all the things that we can all agree to. So I want to underscore one thing about Ideagen as well, is that we're not political. Even though we all have our own political leanings, whatever that may be, globally, global citizen, local citizen, not political. You can come into Ideagen, and we've brought people from all parts of the political spectrum to have a conversation. And I believe, because I've seen it, it's one of the only places on the planet in a convening where you can have folks with different opinions come together to talk about how they would like their solution to come forward. And always the backdrop of the global goals of the United Nations. And Angelos, you put it right, and Peggy, with your leadership here at ACS, I know there's a focus, a backdrop of these global goals, because each and every one of these students is the future. Thank you so very much.